Shalom, call hello, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders who came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua, back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to all you people that came to get this prophetic word, if you will. So let's get into it. This is Ezekiel 7 and 25 in the NLT so that you can understand. All right. 25 says, terror. What's going on in the world today? Terror and trembling will overcome my people. They will look for peace but not find it. Calamity will follow calamity. Rumor will follow rumor. They will look in vain for a vision from the prophets. All right. They will receive no teaching from the priests and no counsel from the leaders. So get this word while you can from the prophets who know what's going on. So what's going on right now? Well, this very well could be scripted up to this point. Okay? Because something was supposed to go down. And because it didn't, right? Somebody's got egg foo young on their face. And these people, they don't like that. So either something's going to happen soon, or this is part of a larger plan, because everybody needs a distraction right now, especially China. China needs huge, because what's going on in China right now? Bank runs, economy is gone. People are rising up everywhere right now. Everybody needs a distraction. Okay, not too sure if China would accept the egg foo young like that, but that's what it is at this point. So either they're going to do something in the next couple of days, or this thing is going to die down, because what they don't want is attention on how the country is falling apart from the inside. And not only there, right here too, everywhere. Okay? This guy, who was it? Canadian Prepper. Maybe I'll show that real quick. Canadian Prepper was going into how devastating it would be, Salakia, how devastating it would be for the Strait of Taiwan over there. If they shut that thing down, he was going into how much commerce per day. Let me just show a quick little snippet of that, because it was amazing actually to understand that. So that, what would that do to everybody? Okay? If they shut down the Strait of Taiwan, what would that do to everybody? All right? See, because I mean, they thought that sanctions was going to do something to to hurt Vlad, right? Well, guess what? It had a boomerang effect. Okay? So starting these wars, can you imagine if they went to war with Taiwan right now, what would happen in the strait? Salakia, bear with me for a second. Let me set this up real quick. Commercial. Let's see. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, let's let him explain that. I'm gonna just jump straight to it, so bear with me.
Because we got bigger fish to fry. Now, as you can see here, this number right here, 3.37 trillion, okay? You need to remember that number, because that's the amount of trade that passes through the Strait of Taiwan every year. Okay, we're talking about all sorts of consumer products. We're talking about energy, oil. We're talking about a lot of military activity throughout here. All of this either comes to a standstill or needs to be rerouted in a way which is going to be incredibly costly if a war breaks out between China and Taiwan. Now, the big elephant in the room that absolutely nobody is talking about with this whole war is what is going to happen, number one, to all of the stuff that's manufactured in Taiwan, and also what is going to happen with China-U.S. trade relations. Right now, you have a lot of war hawks pushing for a war with the Chinese. You even have some people in this community saying, yeah, go get them, Pelosi, get those communists. But you need to think about something, okay? If we go to war with China, people just think, we'll throw some sanctions on them and, they'll just give in and everything will be all right. Do you really think that's going to happen this day and age, especially after what they've seen happen in Russia, where the Russians didn't back down, and look what's going on there? Do you really think that the Chinese can afford to back down at this point in time, knowing that they have their own current housing crisis? There are protests all throughout China right now, and the last thing that the CCP, the Communist Party, and the People's Liberation Army need is to look weak at this point in time. So give them a reason. Give them a reason to engage Taiwan earlier than expected, because the war is inevitable. They inevitably have to take this island, okay? It's a matter of their national security and just the expansion of their Chinese empire. They need Taiwan to come into the fold. The question is when. It appears as though we are trying to accelerate that process with what we're doing with these antagonistic moves by potentially sending Nancy Pelosi there.
All right. So I just thought that was really important to see before. Because this was yesterday. Okay. This was yesterday. And I'm sure I think he even made another video after this. He made about 3 what he calls very important videos yesterday. And we're keeping watch on what's going on. That's what the watchmen or the prophets do. But we filter it through the scriptures. All right, going back to that rumor. A rumor shall come, right? Where was that? Okay. Right here. Where'd it go? Calamity will follow calamity. Rumor will follow rumor. The time we're in right now, let's get this. What time are we in? Let's get this real quick, and then we'll go to Marfugal News. ECC, please, sub 3, right? Turn. To everything, turn. There is a sea. Oh. Okay, so we'll just read it in the NLT. For everything. Nah. Let's go to KJV. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. What time are we in right now? Not a time to love and a time. We're in a time to hate, because there's plenty of people out there hating each other. Love, no. Hate, yeah. Plenty of hate going on. A time of war. And a time of peace. Are we in the time of peace? No, sudden destruction. All right, here we are. We're at the time. We're not in the time of war? All right, now we'll watch Marfugal News. And Marf ain't going to be on there. It's going to be this guy, Dex, his second or whatever. And no, I haven't seen this, so we'll watch it together. And we'll watch a little bit, and then we'll get a couple of precepts on the way out and keep it short. All right.
So let's get into the news. Ahead of the visit of the U.S. Representative Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan, state-backed Xi newspaper, the Global Times, on August 2nd said Beijing has decided to close most of its airspace in the Fujian region, which is closest to Taiwan, as part of a military exercise carried out in the region. As of August 2nd, flights at the airport in several cities in Fujian province, including Xiamen, Fuzhou, and Guangzhou, have been partially canceled, according to the Xiamen Airlines, citing regional traffic controls or that's been reported to the Global Times. Now, this seems a bit extreme. Is Xi suggesting that Nancy's going to invade the mainland? It's probably more of a tactic to upset the locals and reinforce their negative narrative against the U.S. and our allies.
Okay, so maybe, okay, because everybody was waiting to see what was going to happen. She goes to Taiwan. They don't do nothing, supposedly. But after just watching this guy, all right, and what he said, maybe what they're doing is shutting this thing down. That's war without firing a shot. You shut this thing down, what's going to happen to America? You don't let no chips, no computer, nothing come out of here. What is that doing for the greater war? Okay, you need munitions. You could have all the firepower in the world, but if you don't have the computer chip to guide the bomb just sits there until somebody's bomb hits your bomb sitting there. So we don't, we got to sit back and watch what's going on. These things are, hey, this is called asymmetric warfare. It's not like World War II. I shoot a howitzer at you, right? This is a whole different thing. They said that cyber warfare was going on. They shut down all sorts of computer sites and stuff in Taiwan. So they are doing something you might not be able to see. So keep things like that in mind. Listen to a little more.
Anticipation of Nancy's arrival, Taiwan's tallest building, the most iconic landmark, Taipei 101, was lit up at 9 p.m. in anticipation, basically welcoming Speaker Pelosi's visit to Taiwan.
So I'm not the smartest guy in the world.
Slovakia, bear with me on the commercial. This is all impromptu.
Now, the big question we were all waiting for was she really going to land? And apparently she has. So Nancy Pelosi did land in Taiwan amid the threats of military activity from Xi's country. She landed in Taiwan late Tuesday night local time, making her the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit the island since Newt Gingrich in 1997. Her plane touched down in Taiwan at approximately 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Xi has repeatedly warned the U.S. of consequences over the last few days if Pelosi decided to visit Taiwan, which regards Taiwan as a renegade province to be annexed by force if necessary. So they don't really think of Taiwan as a separate country. They really believe it is part of China. Xi warned President JB in a phone call, and I think Adam reported on this just recently, that the U.S. must not play with fire. And if we do, we're going to get burned. And that was the quote. Don't play with fire when it relates to Taiwan. In a statement after her arrival, Pelosi said, "Our visit is one of several congressional delegations to Taiwan." So several. I mean, we know about one or two that have come through in the past, but they weren't necessarily congressional. I think they were appointed by the president, but they were unofficial delegations. So this is one visit of several congressional delegations to Taiwan, and it's no way contradicts the longstanding United States policy guided by the Taiwan Relations Act of 1979, where U.S. and Xi joint communiques and the Six Assurances. The United States continues to oppose unilateral efforts to change the status quo. End quote. So that's what she had to say right after she got off the plane. Now, apparently, Xi is furious, and we heard all of this rhetoric. We've been reporting on it for the last few days about whether or not she was going to go and what he was going to do or not do. So plenty of red lines were thrown out, lots of strong words were thrown out. But now Xi is furious after Pelosi lands in Taiwan and promises, quote, all necessary measures, end quote, to defend itself. So Xi roundly condemns U.S. involvement in Taiwan and says all consequences of Pelosi's trip should be borne by the U.S. The People's Republic of Xi released a lengthy statement Tuesday condemning the arrival of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to the island of Taiwan. the Xi Ministry of Foreign Affairs published a statement which the Xi government accuses Pelosi of undermining the relations between the two countries and encouraging quote unquote separatist forces for Taiwan's independence. So, and to quote it even more, this is a serious violation of the one Xi principle and the provisions of the 3G U.S. joint communiques.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Now, understand that what does this do? Okay, well, if you take into account what I brought out yesterday, going back to December, about the little treaty or the agreement that they signed with each other. This could be one of two things, a dog and pony show, or this could be Xi saying, I can use nuclear weapons on you right now for defense. This is what he said right here. What does it say? To defend itself. China fears after Pelosi lands in Taiwan, promises all necessary measures to defend itself. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look. Let's go back here. Okay. To yesterday, I believe I dug it up again. Let's see. Okay, so yesterday is where is it? Is this yesterday or is this today? This is today. Okay, yesterday I brought out again this. Okay. We're gonna hush that while it breaks through. Okay. Now let's check this out again. Okay, so quickly, this happened like the 14th of December, but on the 4th of January this year, says the 5 permanent UNSC members, right, which would be Russia, China, US, UK, and France, okay, US and China, okay, members have agreed, they made an agreement, that a nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought. Now listen to the verbiage very close. The joint statement signed on January 4th pledged on using nuclear weapons only for that purposes. So they came together and said, okay, well, we're at one. Okay? Just like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost are at one with each other, and they're not the same person. They're at one. They fully agree with each other. Okay? 3 is never 1, and 1 is never 3. They can be at one with each other. This guy is at one with him on this agreement. But here's the operative word. Defensive. So, with this in mind, how are you signing treaties that we ain't going to use nukes? We ain't going to use nukes. And then, you're over here ready to use some nukes. So, that's why they threw that word in there, defensive. We will defend ourselves, all right? So, let's watch a little bit of this. Vows to avoid nuclear war can't be won for defensive purposes. Did he not say defensive? So maybe he threatened the United States, knowing that the United States couldn't back down, and would come anyway. And he said, okay, well, you brought these carriers all up into my backyard. Now I got to defend myself, right? Maybe that's what he's doing. I'm speculating. Nobody knows for sure.
Let this soft mineral.
Nobody knows for sure. But this word, defensive purposes, opens the door, right? Let's see. That opens the door. Does it not? Where were we with that? Right here. See? China furious after Pelosi, this is today, lands in Taiwan, promises all necessary measures. What does that mean? That means nukes. To defend itself. Look at the quotes. All necessary measures. That means we will use nukes because that fits into the agreement, the treaty. We led you into a little ambush there. All right? And I'm speculating. We'll see what happens. We'll keep our eye on it. All right? And what do we know for sure? If it don't come sooner, it's coming later. All right? Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past. Woe meaning Second World War. And behold, the third world war cometh quickly. All right? So with that, we hope that the elect were edified. You brothers and few sisters, with that, we can say shalom.